Okay.
So, outside of the work that you're potentially going to be doing with the professor, what are your interests? You know, what do you, in terms of the major, you obviously picked the major for a reason. You know, why'd you pick it? What is it that fascinates you about that field?
My major? Well, I'm an ad hoc major. It's marketing, communications, and psych, and it was really more of, you know, why people do what they do. Specifically, like consumers, what they're doing. But I think with this and this discovery of the Himalayan society is, you know, being that Buddhism and Hinduism are very old religions, like, how come it's not phasing out in a way that, as a Catholic, that Catholicism is kind of just going down in population, I guess, and how come they're so tightly knit and it's still like extended into this far, and how, I guess, with the art in the Rubin is very traditional, and yet they're still going back to that when new media is still available. So I guess I want to know, like, you know, what's keeping these people together with their identity, specifically with their religion and their art.
Well, in that respect, do you think that the fact that regions like the Bhutan, Tibet, northern India haven't been exposed to new technologies is the absence of digital media, new media, do you feel that that might be a contributing factor to why these societies are so close-knit and why they've held on to their ideological, their religious, and their cultural groundings?
Well, that probably attributes to all of that, the fact that they haven't been, like, very digital. But I think one of the things that we're trying to work on is on identity, whether or not that identity can translate into new media. Because I know in the Rubin there are some, like, interactive virtual tours of certain, might not have been a temple, but I remember seeing something on the wall of a virtual tour of one of the buildings, and I just, can that old traditional thing be translated enough that in the future it'll keep going on? And I guess.
You mentioned earlier, when you first started, you said that you're doing marketing because you want to have an understanding of why people do what they do, or why consumers buy what they buy. You can apply that same logic to why would a Buddhist monk or someone living in the Himalaya region sit down for months at a time and put together a mandala or put together any one of these paintings? Like, what's their motivation? What are they getting out of it? You know, so in terms of the psychological component to marketing and consumer behavior, you can apply the same techniques, the same strategies to this, and just try to understand what would motivate or drive an individual so strongly that they'd be willing to sit down for hours a day, for months at a time, to put together something that they'll ultimately maybe not even enjoy because someone might steal it or they'll give it away, you know. But there's an aspect of art that says that, you know, the painter puts themselves in whatever work that they're doing. It's a part of their soul. Maybe there's an idea in Buddhism that by tolling on something like this for endless hours, you're repenting for something that you may or may not have done in the past. You know, Catholicism, you walk into the confessional, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Maybe these works are some of these monks' confessional. You know, this was their way of showing the Buddha Shakyamuni or the endless number of Buddhas that there have been that this is my homage to what you've done. You know, your legacy will long outlive anything I do because my name's not really going to be attached to this. But the fact that my hands went into making this is my way of showing you how much I respect what you managed to do during your life. You know, because any Buddhist monk, they want to be a Buddha. And that's the basic tenet of Buddhism. You can be as enlightened as the founder of this religion. And maybe that's why they're so close-knit, because in Catholicism, not everyone can be Jesus Christ. You know?
Right.